Now, the modern day life has got pretty comfortable for most, so what is the actual definition of stepping out of your comfort zone? Well, it is to do something new, challenging or unfamiliar that makes you feel uncomfortable or insecure. Now, as a runner, especially one that likes to take on longer distances now and again, I am very familiar with stepping over that comfort line. You know, those times when things start to get difficult, the body and the muscles tighten up, or maybe your stomach is finding it hard to process anything. And these can be challenging times and we really have to try and push through them. But for our last big race of the year, Liga and myself would both have to step well and truly out of our comfort zone, because we were taking on an adventure that we had never attempted before in a harsh environment that we had never been to before. And over the next 5 days, we would have to navigate our way through 220 kilometers of epic Wadi Rum desert as we attempted to run the beautiful but challenging Ultra X Jordan. Here we are again at an airport, ready for a big challenge, but this is definitely going to be the biggest, most challenging adventure of the year. It's pretty early in the morning and we're at Luton Airport, but coffee always helps to wake you up. But we're just sitting here waiting for our gate to come up, and then we're going to be catching a plane over to Jordan, where myself and Liga are going to be taking on Ultra X Jordan. Super excited about this one. Slightly worried as well. There's been lots of things to sort out, but I think we've remembered to pack everything. What do you reckon?
I hope so.
Yeah, fingers crossed we've got everything. But yeah, we've got about an hour until the flight, so we'll have this coffee, we'll grab something to eat, and then we're going to jump on that plane and we're going to get over to Jordan. So the training miles had been run and the kit had all been tested out thoroughly, and we'd bagged up our food, adding up the calories as we went, making sure that we had enough to keep us going over the 5 days. We're both packed and repacked our camp kit bags several times, trying to make sure that we hadn't forgotten anything and trying to keep them under the 18 kilogram requirement. And then we jumped on a 5.5 hour flight to Amman, the capital of Jordan in the Middle East. We soon touched down on the runway, collected our luggage and made our way out of the airport and into the slightly warmer temperatures of Jordan. And then on the short drive to our accommodation, we really got to see the scale and the vastness of this capital city. But it wasn't long until we arrived at the hotel reception, got checked in and made it up to our room for the night. Okay, we have made it to Amman and we're here in Jordan in the Regency Hotel. We had a great flight. We flew through passport control, picked up our visas and got our baggage, and everything's arrived okay. So that's a big thumbs up from me. But we have got a one-night stopover here at the Regency Hotel. I don't think a hoodie and jeans is quite right for this sort of temperature. It was 31 degrees when we arrived. One night stopover, then we've got our kit check in the morning, pick up our numbers, and then we are going to be bussed out to the desert. But this is the start of the adventure. We had a quick look around the hotel and eventually made it up to the stunning roof terrace to capture an incredible sunset over the vast city of Amman. And then it was time for bed because we had an early start in the morning. After grabbing a quick room service breakfast, we headed off down to the Petra Ballroom with all the other runners and crew for our race briefing by Jamie and his team.
You will have ups this week, you will have downs. That is the name of the game. But remember, the tougher something is, the better it feels when you achieve it.
Like everyone else here, we're aiming to get you all across the finish line. You're going to be in pain at some point, so that's totally normal. If we can't get you across the finish line in one piece, we'll try and do it in multiple pieces, stuck together, a lot of tape. And have a very good week, everyone.
After the welcome and briefing, it was off to kit check, and this is where the crew would check through all our race mandatory kit, but they'd also be making sure that we had everything we needed for our 5-day adventure in the desert.
Tags, if you pop them on the bag you take to the desert.
Race numbers and tags were collected, and then we all headed out of the hotel into the blue sky and sunshine to get our kit bags loaded up onto the coaches that were going to be taking us out of the capital city all the way to the borders of the stunning Wadi Rum. The first 2 hours of the trip flew by, and then it was time for a quick pit stop to freshen up. Well, what can I say? What an unexpected stop. We're 2 hours into our coach journey to our desert base camp. We stopped outside this building, which doesn't look like a lot from outside, but when you get inside, it's like an Aladdin's cave. had this amazing meal set out for us as well. So we're well fed. It's going to be our last bit of luxury before the desert, but what I can say is as we've driven out of town and we're getting closer and closer to that desert environment, the nerves are starting to settle. Myself and Liga feel a lot better about it. All the tension build up before packing our kit, making sure we remembered everything, and then fitting it into an 18-kilo bag was pretty stressful, but as we got closer to the desert, we're just getting more and more excited. So we've got about another hour to go, and then a really exciting last 20 minutes of the trip to get to Desert Base Camp. So we better get back on the coach. As we headed further away from the capital city, the landscape started to change quite drastically before our very eyes, and we started to get a really good idea of what was ahead of us for the next 5 days. The bus trip was complete, so we grabbed our bags and headed for our next exciting mode of transport, which was going to be in the back of 30 4x4s racing across the desert. We soon made friends with our truck buddies, and the driver fired up the engine, and we were off on the last section of our trip to Desert Base Camp. And to say this part of the journey across the beautiful Wadi Rum was exhilarating would be a massive understatement, and it really got the adrenaline pumping. I mean, it was more like a scene from a Mad Max movie than a transport to the start of the race, but we loved every minute of it. Well, as far as getting to a race start goes, that has got to be up there with the best of them. What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing experience. And we have arrived at camp. We could see our desert home from home in the distance, so we all got our bags out of the 4x4s and made our way over. The atmosphere was awesome, and there was a lot of excitement in the air as we took our first look at our traditional Bedouin tented camp.
Lloyd, you're tent 3.
Thanks, man.
Is this the tent of the good ones?
Yep, this is where all the cool kids hang out. The tents were allocated, and we had 8 other runners sharing with us from all over the world. So France, Belgium, Switzerland, and even Australia. So we really were a cosmopolitan tent. The next hour was pretty busy with everyone trying to get their sleeping arrangements set up and familiarising themselves with the new surroundings. And then it was over to Jamie from Ultra X again to welcome us to camp and to go through a few house rules.
I'm just going to go through some bullet points. Free Bedouin tea here and coffee. It'll be available all day, every day, free of charge. It's the first year they've offered this, which is nice to find out about now. Every year, it's just part of the customs here. We have a member of the tourism police with us. It's just what happens out here in Jordan. So if you see a police car driving around the desert tomorrow, nothing to worry about. It's just, it's all normal. You've all purchased loo bags and won't need to use them. Apologies. The good news is that you've got normal-ish flushing toilets. Okay, that went down well, fantastic. So hot water is available here from 5, because it's always available 2 hours before the start. It's also available from now, if you want to start having your rehydrated meals. The therapist tent and the medical tent, they'll start operating tomorrow. They're just on the other side of these black bivouacs here. Enjoy, it's going to be a cracking week. So good to have you all out here. Thank you. Ultra X Jordan is, for most people, the adventure of a lifetime. You know, we take people to a landscape they've never seen. I mean, this place, it doesn't look real. It looks like it's made up in some Hollywood studio. Put you through an intense, tough, hard, grueling 5 days of running and walking. And, you know, the tougher something is, the better it feels when you achieve it. And you will go to the depths this week, but you will come out on the other side with new friends, new thoughts, and memories that will last a lifetime. So really, I think you've got a lot to look forward to.
So, we have made it to Desert Base Camp, and what an experience. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's kind of surreal, isn't it, being here? Even though we drove here, we went across the desert on them amazing 4x4s, it literally feels like I've been plopped into base camp. So it's kind of hard to get our head around it at the moment, but we had a lovely welcome from Jamie from Ultra X. We got everything sorted out when it comes to our desert accommodation. We've met everyone that's in our tent and they all seem really friendly, which is great news, especially when you're going to be sharing a tent with 8 other people. You definitely want to get on. And as I sit here and talk to you guys, I have what I can only describe as one of the most stunning sunsets I've ever seen. And this is our first day and already we've got incredible views across camp. But if I'm honest, we're pretty tired from the 2 days of traveling and we need to go back down to camp to sort out our race kit for tomorrow morning because we're going to be starting stage 1. Then we're going to be grabbing some food by the campfire, get some electrolytes and have an early night and a good night's sleep so that we can get ready to take on day 1 of Ultra X Jordan.